Welcome to this how-to video on Catalist. During this video we're going to have a look at three functionalities. So we're going to have a look at filtering using scores or points within Catalist and also the browser mode. So these all help to process companies within your target list or within your suggestions that come from the sources that we have set up during the previous demos. So you now know how to build a feed of suggestions, you know how to enrich these with data from the previous videos, and we're going to take this step further, actually diving deep on these companies and seeing which ones are more or less interesting. So let's open up my robotic harvesting collection that I set up as an example, and have a look at filters first. So filtering can be done at a couple places. First place is obviously on any of your collection views. So I have 6 companies that match my thesis on robotic harvesting that I think are interesting, but all are a bit different, right? So it can be their founding years, employee counts, where they're located, what type of crops they harvest, or in what setting the robot is used. So if we open that up and we want to see a specific subset, we can basically filter on any of these data points that we have available. So in this case, for example, if you only want to see the ones that harvest tomatoes, open it up, save it, and it will limit that back to the 3 that match that specific filter. Can do the same with negative filters. So in case I want to see all the others that don't mention tomatoes on the website, click again, turns red, save that, and I'll get the negative results. So especially when you're building large collections with different subsegments, different types of technologies in there, it can be super helpful to quickly find the subset that matches a specific set of filters. Whenever you add these filters and you move away from the collection and turn back, it will remember so that you can pick up your work where you left it off. If you want to turn them off, you could go to all the active filters, open that up, click again and save, and you'll have your original collection of 6 companies in this case. The other place where we can use filters is when we're actually building the collection. So that happens in sources. Here I have 3 sources running, 1 Google scrape, 1 website scrape, and a initial set that I uploaded with an Excel. And what happens here is these enter in my suggestions, as we explained before, and it can be true that when I Google on greenhouse harvest robotics, that I also find stuff that is less relevant, let's say that when I'm looking at startups. So to make sure that I'm only looking at the relevant subset of companies, it's helpful to add some filters. So actually these can sort of help define your scope when building a larger database. So in this case, as I'm looking at startup, I would probably add some filters about the employee count. So they should match employee size of less than 150 and a founding year which is after 2021. That would indeed make it more likely for me to see startups by adding these. So let's save that. And these filters are then actually applied to each of the sources. So anything that doesn't match these results won't pop up in your suggestions. Within a specific source, you can also extend on that. If you open these up, you can see, well, for this specific source, I might want to add another filter because I know that certain scrapes can be particularly noisy or bring a lot of results that might not match my criteria. So let's add in some keyword here, and we could say, well, I also want to be sure that on the website it actually mentions robot, for example. Well, sorry, enter. We could do more and more and more with if statements. And if we want, we could also override the general filters that we previously set up and make a specific set of filters per source. But then we get more into the weeds. So let's save that for now. Save that up. And there we go. It's applied to that source. That's filtering. Super helpful when running large collections. Next up is scoring points. So whenever you're building a collection, and again, especially if you have 100 or 200 companies in there that all fit the scope of your search, they all do robotic harvesting in my example, but there will be ones that are more or less interesting than the others. So that's where scoring points come in. And these are added to the different collection categories that we have set up. So in my example, I might be more interested in companies that offer a robot harvesting machine that is applicable in a greenhouse and that harvests a tomato, for example. So let's open that up, and you'll see that I checked off the add points button and said, well, if it mentions tomato on the website, let's add 5 points, bell pepper 2, strawberry 0. Same for the application, greenhouse 5, 0 to open field, and vertical farm 2. And this way, by adding up these points, that will show within my collection, and I can filter on the ones that have the highest scores and have a look at those first. To speed up the process, look at the most relevant companies from the get-go. Super helpful when looking at big collections. Lastly, we have the browser mode. So there's a couple of views to look at companies. Obviously, we have the table view, which shows all the companies as it would in your Excel. We have the profile view with more details on each of these companies, where we find all the data and what we can do, because in some cases, it's just best to have a look at the website, scroll through, read about the company, but without the hassle of having to open up, search for all the websites every single time you go. You open up browser mode, it preloads the website view. You can scroll through, click on anything. When you've had your look, you can go to the site, leave a comment on the company. You can add it to your deal flow, or maybe leave a first impression in the form of a relevance score that you find fitting. Ask a colleague to have a look, whatever you want, basically, and then move on to the next one, which is now preloaded, so it should help you navigate quite quickly through your set of companies. Super helpful to speed up the process of doing a first run of assessments. Same view whenever you're in suggestions, it shows the exact same thing. You can move through them, add them to your collection, or remove them from your collection as you please. That's it for today. All these functions are very much focused on helping you to quickly and effectively screen and assess a larger set of companies and to get from a target long list to short list. Hope that helps, and see you during the next video.